Let's go now to our man in Washington, the man who didn't just represent our country there, but, well, did such a wonderful job for his family. He decided to stay there, continue building a life with Bondi Partners. He is the great Joe Hockey, of course, former Australian ambassador and treasurer of Australia as well. He's joining us now from a mystery location, but a beautiful background, which he shot himself, did you not?
No, not this one, but because I'm going to charge Sky News for the use of my photography, you see. So, no, I'm joking. Don't worry.
Because you had a beautiful picture.
I've missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too, mate. Well, it's nice to chat. So let's get into it because there's so much, right? And sadly, from my perspective, the past couple of weeks, polls have only got stronger for Joe Biden. Any way you cut it. And we've talked about this before. The state of Arizona is one that I think is the litmus about whether Trump is fighting back or not, because traditionally that shouldn't be voting Democrat, but the polls say it's going Biden's way. Is there any tea leaf that says it's 2016 all over again, or this seems to be more solidified than Clinton was in 16?
Well, at the moment, if an election were held today in the United States, Donald Trump would lose. And he'd lose by a pretty significant margin. But there's still quite a few months to go, and there's going to be a lot of events that occur over the next few months that are game changers in the election. There will be 3 debates with Mr. Biden, and those 3 debates will be closely watched by everyone in America. The second thing is that everyone is waiting to see who Joe Biden picks as his vice presidential running mate. That is a crucial nomination, given that he's already hinted he'd only serve 1 term, and given his age, it is a major announcement as well. And then the third key factor is how the coronavirus plays out here in the United States. They're still testing, and if I may, Paul, I was just speaking to Gladys Berejiklian, who watches your program and is watching tonight. They are doing a great job with testing in New South Wales. They are doing a great job with testing. In New South Wales, my 10-year-old son, the family moved back, and the 10-year-old son there had to be tested the other day. Took 24 hours to get a result. The US has just announced that the average waiting time for a result here is nearly 5 days. So how many people are going to pass on the coronavirus while they're hanging around waiting for those results? So that just shows Australia is in a great position on this.
Yeah, bloody oath. We are doing an incredible job. I mean, the fact that literally, it's more than 1.2, 1.3 million tests that have happened in both Victoria and New South Wales separately, more than 3 million tests, I think it is, up to 4, actually, that have happened here in Australia. But, I mean, I mentioned this, I think, before I went away, but it's worth repeating now. I think the strategy for Trump is that in the same way that he was able to use illegal immigration as a metaphor for lots of things, in the same way he was able to use build the wall as a metaphor for drain the swamp and anti-establishment, I think it comes down to defend the police versus defund the police. That Trump campaign ad that came out last week I thought was spectacular, because when you see the crap that's going on in places like Portland, where lasers are being fired into the eyes of the cops, I think people genuinely believe that Biden is, if nothing else, going to take a step back and say, it's not a fight I'm going to get involved with, but Trump is involved in that fight, trying to push back every day.
Well, that's right. You're right. National security, law and order are key advantages for Donald Trump. And so too, is the economy. And at the moment, the economy is struggling here in the United States. There are a lot of glimmers of hope on the technology front, in some areas of retail. Certainly, there's a massive amount of government spending going into the economy. But you're absolutely right. A lot does come back to national security. Portland has been a disaster zone from a local law enforcement angle. And almost all the mayors of the major cities in America are in fact Democrat mayors. Don't forget, Hillary Clinton won the 30 largest cities in America. She won them against Donald Trump. His strength is in regional areas. That's why he held back on supporting masks, because the tractor driving farmer in Iowa is not about to wear a mask when he's driving his tractor. And yet Donald Trump has found that it's very challenging arguing for regional interests against city interests. But he needs to win some city votes in order to win the presidency. And he's got to deal with the coronavirus and be more serious about it. And there are signs that he is. And he needs to be more serious about trying to get the economy back up and running.